We first moved to the town of Eatonville in 1944. And we were just here for a few months. My father knew of this place because he had moved several families from Georgia to Eatonville. We lived in New York for a couple of years. We moved back to Florida for my father to get a crew of people to take back to New York because we were migrant workers. We had done this all of our lives, really. When we moved back in 1945, at that time, the property that we had rented before, the gentleman offered to sell it to us. And my father, it took a lot of talking, but we finally convinced him to buy some property because many of the people that we had carried north with us who were working would save their money, come back to Florida, and purchase their own homes. And my mom said, you know, if everybody else can purchase their home, surely the boss can buy a home someplace so that we'll have a regular place to come home to every year, because we had moved around quite a bit. So we purchased that property in 1946. We were only here a few months out of the year, usually the second semester of school through the ending, and we would go to New York and come back. My father believed in hard work, and as soon as you could walk and talk good, you were working. We started working very early, and you didn't appreciate it then, but you do now because it gives you work ethics, and you know how to go to work, and you know the value of working and saving your money. My father had gotten in some trouble years earlier when I was very young. I don't remember, but my sister said that we were always moving in Georgia from place to place because he would get in trouble with the police and we'd have to leave in the middle of the night. So he used to say to us, always keep money in your pocket, because if you get in some trouble and, you know, the law isn't exactly fair, especially, to a black man and his family. And he didn't run and leave his family. He would say, we're leaving today, or he'll tell my mother. And during that day, she would be getting things ready. We wouldn't know what would be happening. And someday before day in the morning, we were gone.
4 days in the morning.
That's right. We've gone to a new location. So we have traveled in quite a few places over, from Kentucky to New York to Georgia, Tennessee. But we finally settled in Eatonville. And so Eatonville has been home to us. I think my father was intrigued that he had moved people here earlier and that it was an all-black town. So he felt that this might be a good place to raise his family. Remember, my father had lived on a plantation. He'd done sharecropping, and because of the work that he did, he decided that he really did need a stable place, and he thought it was a pretty safe place for him as well as his family. Well, right now we're the third generation. My parents would be the first, I would be the second, and my niece, my sister's daughter, and her family lived in that house. So they're the third generations that have lived there. But I would just love to see this town prosper in that we could be self-sustaining, I'll say it that way, where the town would have shops, would have stores, would have places that we could accommodate the needs of the people in this community. I can see that happening. I've visited several small towns, and especially in upstate New York, and they were like small college towns. Mm-hmm. And you can see the progress, and we went through these places to see what they've done. And if we can work together and stick together, we can really make Eatonville a tourist town, a place that our kids would be happy to say that they're from here. Because in addition to establishing businesses, it would also give them a future. They'd have places to have jobs, they could have their own businesses, and they could have their own homes. And I don't mean that they have to be row houses. They can have nice homes, because we do have the property here, and we do have the ability here.